How would you finish this sentence? I will be a success when. Before you check out this episode, pause here for a second and write down your answer. And if you're comfortable, throw it in the comments too. That'd be even better. So, the question I want to ask this week is, what are you currently chasing in your business? Is it a certain number of clients, a certain monthly income? Maybe you want the ability to retire yourself or your spouse or both and start chasing that life that you dream about. Or maybe it's something I haven't even thought of. I certainly have goals that I'm chasing, and I think it's really important to know what direction you're heading in. But could your goals actually be stopping you from finding that success that you're after? Before we dive into this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that little notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial or upload. A survey that was highlighted on the QuickBooks blog back in 2023 stated that on average, US consumers believe that they need to earn $230,000 annually to feel successful. Now, this figure varies by generation. So, for instance, millennials think that they need to go even higher. They think on average $288,000 a year, while baby boomers are satisfied with less than half of that amount. But think about that for a second. The lowest income that equals success for the majority of people is $144,000 a year. Now, thinking back to your goals and the KPIs that you set for yourself this year, does that number feel even remotely attainable to you right now? If this is what the majority of consumers, and we're going to count business owners in that because business owners were consumers too, right? If that's what people see as the benchmark for success in their business, it's no wonder that so many of us are drowning trying to keep up. And it certainly doesn't help when we're doom scrolling social media and the people that are out there talking about their income and what they're bringing in are the people who appear to be hitting those goals, implying to us that everybody is doing it. I don't know about you, but when I find myself getting sucked into that rabbit hole, those are the times when I feel like I will never be a success. And it leads me down a spiral that typically ends with, maybe I just need to focus on getting a real job and give up this hobby or this idea that I'm a business owner. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, you are not alone. I find myself there way more often than I would care to admit. But it's in these times that I recognize that what I actually need more than anything else, even more than more customers, is a mindset shift. There's a quote that I ran across while I was researching and writing this episode that wasn't attributed to anyone in particular, and I think that's probably because so many people have said some variation on it that, it's hard to pinpoint who it was that actually said it, but I love the conciseness in the version that I saw. You will never be happy if you are always chasing after more. True success comes when you can be content in the present while still working toward the future. And I love this idea that it's not either or. It's not this or that. We don't have to settle for what we have now, but we also don't have to be constantly striving for more. Two things can be true at the same time. I can be truly content with what I have already achieved while continuing to push myself forward. And I think it's really important to note here that this quote didn't say working towards my goals, implying that there's more to be achieved, right? It said working towards my future, which we're all heading towards whether we're working towards it or not. Building on what we talked about in the last episode, when we're constantly chasing that more, we try to take on everything, either because we're too afraid to say no to some good opportunities, or because we don't really know what is working in our business. So we just pursue everything, hoping that something's going to stick. Or maybe it's our own version of FOMO. We're worried that while we are steadily working away at our current tasks and strategies, we're just going to miss out on that magical unicorn that is going to blow up our business overnight. Whatever the reason, too strong a focus on growth and goals robs us of appreciating the success that we have already achieved. Okay, so I know it's easy for me to say, just start being content with what you have while still working towards your future. But how? How do you even begin to do that? Just like with everything in our business, this kind of mindset shift is not going to happen overnight. But there are a few things that we've talked about in the past that can really help here. So the first thing is review your current process. What recurring tasks are on your to-do list? Which ones are already reaping that ROI or return on investment? or steadily growing in that direction, and which ones are just not really making a difference. Remove one of those tasks that isn't really moving the needle in your business. Creating that balance between your life and your business goes a long way towards finding that contentment that we're talking about. The second thing is something that I'm a little bit of a broken record here on, but I'm not going to stop. Take advantage of the affordable automation tools that are available to you to take on some of those more impactful but ultimately repetitive and mundane tasks. Take them off your plate. That will bring you even further towards the contentment that we're talking about, but still keeps you working towards your future. The third thing is knowing when to say no, even to those good opportunities that come your way. Cluttering your day and your mind with a ton of good things doesn't leave enough room for those great opportunities that are just around the corner. And if you struggle with knowing which opportunities are good versus which ones are great, then this might be a time for you to sit down and define, or maybe redefine, what your values are. They are the best compass to guide you when those difficult decisions arise. And finally, and this brings us back to that question that I asked you to pause and write down your answer at the beginning of this episode, redefine your version of success. Rather than pinning that word to a dream, attach it to reality. Instead of asking yourself, what does my dream business look like? Ask yourself, what does enough look like? And let us know your answer in the comments. I hope you liked that video, and more importantly, that you found it helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing it with a fellow solopreneur. And make sure you check out the description for links to how we can connect and maybe even work together.